Assalamualaikum and salam sejahtera. Welcome to ACC106 tutorial series. This video is actually to share with you on how to calculate the balances of accounts at the end of the year or at the end of each month. Okay, first of all, you need to have the complete set of ledger transactions that are you already recorded. For example, in the bank account, all the transactions that involves bank account transactions has been recorded just like this one in the screen. And you need to leave it blank at least one row at the end of the transactions have already been recorded. For example, you look at the bank account, the last transactions is at the row 10. Even though on the debit side, the transactions recorded ended at row 8, but however, the credit side of the accounts, the last transactions at the row number 10. So row 11, leave it blank. So you need to leave it blank first. So this is the first step that you need to do. I mean, leave it blank. And at row 12, you need to specify or put a bracket, not a bracket, is a row to justify that is the what we call as balancing figure. Usually we will have one row at the top and two rows at the bottom, like this. So then the next step is to calculate the total amount that you have been recorded on the debit side. Okay, I use the formula of summations in the Excel, but if you don't have the you do not do this in Excel, so you need to calculate them manually using your calculator. No need scientific calculator, a simple calculator or in your phone is sufficient. Okay, you need to total from the first row until at the end of it. What is the total amount of the debit side? So once you calculate, then you will have the amount on the debit side. That is 184,095 ringgit. And then you need to again calculate the total of the credit side. I use Excel, so much easier. However, if you do it manually, please calculate carefully each of the numbers, because we are still human beings. There is a possibility we punch the key on your calculator wrongly. So please be careful. So now you have the total of the credit side is 35,310. If you see these two total of debit side is much higher than from the amount of the credit side, right? So the next thing is which side has less amount. So we have here the bank account. the credit side has the less amount compared to the debit side. So this is the place that you need to calculate the balances. Balance, and we usually balance carry down, CD. But some of the book some of the old books will use CF, carry forward. It don't really matter, because the most important thing is to ensure the date that you calculate the balances is at the end of the month or at the end of the year. So end of the month, so the balance here, the word balance here is actually the ending balance. Okay, now this balance is actually will be calculated by subtracting the credit side amount from the debit side amount, because the debit side has more money compared to the credit side. The next step is to erase the amount that has less balance. Means that the lesson balance 35,000 is much lower than the debit side 184. So you need to delete that figure. So you need to write the same amount on the boxes with the same as the debit side, that we call a balancing figure. Okay. Now to calculate the balance, the ending balance here is actually using the amount of total of the debit balance. That means the biggest amount just now, and deduct with the amount that we calculate just now is 35,310. That is the amount, the total amount of credit side transactions, 35,310. So that is the amount, the ending balance of the bank account. Now for the next month, so means that August 1, you will have an opening balance for the next month. So you will write in particular balance brought down, BD, and the amount is actually the same as the closing balance of the last month at the end of it, in 30th September. So this is how you complete the records of ledger with calculating the ending balance and showing the opening balance for the next month. Now let's have a look at another example. Let's say you have only one transactions with the discount received. Again, just now you need to have the boxes to put the balancing figure, right? And here you already know 240. You do not need to calculate. So this is 0, right? So you have this. Of course, this one is much higher, that is 0. So this is the place. Remember, the lower amount will have the balance. So the September 30, again, balance carry down. Okay, remember the lower amount will be deleted and put the same amount with the higher figure of balancing figure. And of course, this one, 240 deduct 0, of course it will be 240. Even though it has one transactions, you still need to have to calculate the ending balance of that account. So your opening balance for the next month here is the same as the closing balance of the last month. I am sure or confident that you realize, you can see that the closing balance and the opening balance always at the opposite side. Okay, let's have a look at the bank account just now. The bank account, the closing balance on the credit side. However, the opening balance on the debit side. But discount receipt, the closing balance on the debit side, but the opening balance on the credit side. Okay. Now let's have a look for another transactions that might be interesting for you. For example, I'll show you on the Tipsy neighborhood. Okay, the Tipsy neighborhood. If you calculate the total of the credit side and also the debit side of the accounts, is the same. Can you see that? 5,000. The total of the debit side of the Dipsy account is the same as the credit side of the Dipsy account. This means that this particular account do not have ending balance, do not have balance at all. So you do not need to calculate the balances. Okay, now I leave it to you to calculate all the balances for all the accounts. And then after you calculate all the balances of the account, you need to transfer this amount, the balances amount, to another document that we call trial balance. Now let's have a look at the format of the trial balance. So the format of trial balance, the first thing is the name of the company, and then the word trial balance as at 31st September, and the year of that transactions must be complete, the title. And you have the details, particulars. One column called particulars means that the name of the accounts, and some of the book title of the using the word title of the accounts, or just the accounts or the account name. It does not matter. You can put anything you like. Those names are appropriate anyway, but do not go far from that. Normally we put particular and then a column of debit and a column of credit. For trial balance, any trial balance, whenever you have a trial balance, always remember on the debit side, will have asset, drawing, expenses, always at the debit side. However, for any capital liability revenue must be on the credit side. Okay, let's have a look at your ledger. First of your ledger is the bank account, right? So in your trial balance, you will put the name of the account, bank, cash at bank, or the money in the bank is your asset, right? It's a current asset. Just now I said whenever the account is classified, whether it's an asset or drawing or expenses, all those accounts balances will be on the debit side. So you will put the amount of balance of bank account, that is 148,785 on the debit side of the trial balance. Okay, just now we calculate the discount received. Remember the discount received? Oops. The discount received is classified as revenue. So you need to put at the credit side. Okay, let's look at where this is going to see. Yes. So the amount is 240. Okay, for accounts that do not have balances, for example, just now, the Deep Sea Syndrome Hut account do not have balance. So you do not need to put here, because the trial balance is to list out all the balances from the ledgers. So if the account has 0 balances, means that do not have any balance. So you do not put the account or the name of the account, that particulars, in the trial balance. Okay, you shouldn't put it. Okay, and at the end, after you list out all the balances of the accounts, the total amount on the debit side and the total amount of the credit side of your trial balance must balance. If your trial balance not balanced, definitely you have errors. You must have errors. Then it's a very difficult and tedious task to identify the error. It's very difficult. Sometimes I also experience the headache to find where my mistake is. Okay, so this trial balance is actually to check back your records, whether you have accurately record the transactions accurately. So if not balanced, definitely there's error. However, sometimes the error is just because you wrongly calculated the total of debit and the total of credit of your trial balance. I do experience that mistake, and it's really a frustrating time. But do not be afraid. Please try it. I know you are not an accounting student, but please try it to balance out your trial balance. Once you get the trial balance, you will feel at the top of the world. Trust me, been there and done that. Okay, that's it for now for the video. This video. See you in the next video for financial statement. Thank you. Bye bye.